Beware. God is trying to save you from a man. The name will shock you. My beloved child, don't skip, stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is a reason these words reached you at this exact moment. Something has been happening around you that you may have noticed, but you have not fully understood yet. A certain man has been occupying more space in your thoughts than he should, and God is trying to redirect your attention before you misunderstand his place in your life. Do not rush to a conclusion. The revelation is deeper than simply walking away from someone. Sometimes a person enters your story looking like an answer, only to become the reason you finally recognize what the true answer feels like. Don't skip, because the detail that reveals who this message points toward is not where you expect it to be. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and when you hear the final clue, you may suddenly understand why certain conversations have felt different lately. Listen closely, because the next sign is easy to overlook. This man may not be the person you immediately thought of when you saw the title. That is exactly why the name will shock you. Think about the person whose words once brought certainty, yet lately leave you questioning what you already knew in your heart. Think about the person whose presence seems important, but whose place in your future has somehow become harder to understand instead of clearer. God's redirection does not always arrive through a dramatic moment. Sometimes it appears through repeated hesitation, unexpected distance, changed timing, or a strange realization that you have been holding on to an image of someone rather than seeing who they are today. Don't skip. The biggest revelation is still ahead, because the name may not be revealed as a literal name at first. It may be revealed through a pattern so specific that only one person comes to your mind. And here is where everything begins to turn. The man God is trying to move you away from may be someone you never expected to question because you already gave him a meaningful role in your story. That is what makes this revelation so surprising. You kept looking for an obvious sign, while the real sign may have been the way your peace changes whenever you begin imagining your future around him. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Before this message is finished, you are going to hear a clue about his connection to your past, the way he communicates with you, and the one small pattern that could make his identity suddenly clear. Don't skip now. What comes next could completely change the way you understand why this particular man entered your life, and why God may be leading your heart in an entirely different direction. My beloved child, something is about to become clearer than it has ever been before, so don't skip. The man this message is pointing toward may be connected to a chapter you thought was already settled. You may have wondered why his presence keeps returning to your mind, why certain memories suddenly appear, or why something about him feels unfinished. But here is the surprising part: not everything that returns is meant to remain. Sometimes a familiar person appears again only so you can finally see what you could not see before. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The clue is hidden in one simple question: when this man comes closer, do you become more certain about your direction, or do you begin questioning the peace you had before? Pay attention to that difference, because it may reveal more than his words ever could. Now listen carefully, because this is where the title begins to make sense. The name that shocks you may belong to someone you trusted because he never looked like the person you would need to leave behind. Perhaps he speaks beautifully. Perhaps he knows exactly what to say at the right moment. Perhaps there is history between you that makes you believe his place must be permanent. Yet history does not automatically mean destiny. Don't skip. There is another clue coming, and this one is much more specific. Notice what happens when you begin moving forward without needing his approval. Does he suddenly become more present? Does he become warmer only when he feels you becoming distant? Does clarity disappear whenever he returns? You do not need to accuse him or assume the worst. Simply observe the pattern. Sometimes the revelation is not about discovering that someone is terrible, it is about discovering that someone no longer belongs where you kept placing him. But there is one final detail you need before you understand why his identity could surprise you. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The man may be connected to a promise, expectation, or future you quietly created in your mind long before you had enough information to know whether it was truly meant for you. And that is why letting go of the idea feels harder than letting go of the person. Don't skip now, because the next revelation goes deeper. There is a difference between missing someone and being meant to return to them. There is a difference between familiarity and alignment. And there is a difference between someone appearing at the right moment and someone being right for your future. The next clue will expose that difference so clearly that one particular person may immediately cross your mind, and when that happens, you will understand why the name feels so unexpected. My beloved child, the next clue changes everything, so don't skip. You have been looking for the answer in his words, but the answer may actually be hiding in what happens inside you after those words are over. Think carefully. When this man disappears from the conversation, what remains behind, clarity or confusion? When you imagine building your future around him, does your path become easier to understand, or do you suddenly begin making excuses for things that never needed excuses before? Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. This is where the surprising revelation begins. The man may not be someone new at all. He may be someone whose name has already been attached to an important chapter of your life, someone you believed would eventually become exactly who you hoped he could be. But sometimes we become attached to potential and accidentally call it certainty. And once you recognize that difference, his name may enter your mind before this message even reaches its final words. Something even deeper is unfolding here. Don't skip, because this clue is the one most people overlook. Watch the timing. Every time you begin rebuilding your confidence, moving towards something meaningful, or finally feeling comfortable without his attention, does something connected to him suddenly pull your thoughts backward? A message. A memory. An unexpected appearance. A familiar sentence. And suddenly the future becomes quieter while the past becomes louder. That pattern does not automatically make him a bad person, and this is important. God may be redirecting you from someone without asking you to hate him. Sometimes two people can matter to each other and still not belong in the same destination. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because the real shock is not discovering who he is, it is discovering why you struggle to recognize him. You were searching for someone obviously wrong, while the person you needed to reconsider may be someone who once felt completely right. And now comes the detail that could make one name rise above every other name in your mind. Don't skip. Think of the man whose presence carries the strongest combination of familiarity and uncertainty. The man you can remember with warmth, yet somehow cannot imagine clearly when you look far into your future. The man whose promises may sound powerful, while his consistency tells a quieter story. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The revelation is getting closer, but do not force a name onto this message. Look at the pattern instead. The person this points toward is the one you keep trying to understand even after his actions have already given you information. And what comes next is even bigger, because there is one unmistakable difference between someone who belongs in your next chapter and someone who was only meant to teach you something in the previous one. Once you hear that difference, everything may suddenly connect. My beloved child, this is the moment where the hidden pattern begins to reveal itself, so don't skip. The difference you have been waiting to understand is surprisingly simple. Someone meant for your next chapter will not require you to constantly rewrite reality just to keep believing in the connection. You will not have to turn inconsistency into mystery, silence into hidden meaning, or uncertainty into a promise that was never actually made. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Think about the man whose name appeared in your mind when you heard those words. Do not judge him, and do not rush into a decision because of one message. Instead, notice what is real. Perhaps you have been holding on to who he was, who you hoped he would become, or who you imagined the two of you could become together. And this may be the revelation you never expected. Sometimes the person we struggle hardest to release is not the person himself, it is the future we quietly imagined around him. But now another layer opens, and this one could completely change how you see the title. Don't skip. The name that shocks you might be the name you were least willing to question. Maybe it belongs to the man you defended when others misunderstood him. Maybe it belongs to someone whose return once felt like confirmation that everything would eventually work out. Maybe he knows your history, your dreams, and the version of you that existed before everything began changing. Yet knowing your past does not automatically give someone a place in your future. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Look at what happens when you stop chasing explanations and simply watch what remains consistent. Real clarity does not need endless decoding. Real care becomes visible through repeated choices. And sometimes the answer arrives when you stop asking, "What does he really mean?" and begin asking, "What has he consistently shown me?" Now hold on to this final clue, because the next chapter depends on it. There may be one man whose name keeps returning to your thoughts even though something inside you has already started moving beyond the connection. That inner distance matters. Don't skip, because what comes next may be the strongest revelation yet. You may discover that the person you thought you were waiting for was actually the person you were slowly outgrowing. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. You do not need resentment, confrontation, or dramatic conclusions. You only need enough clarity to stop confusing attachment with direction. And in the next moment, one question will bring everything together. If this man never changed, never became more consistent, and remained exactly as he is today, would you still choose this connection for the future you truly want? Your answer to that question may reveal more than any name ever could. My beloved child, the answer to that question may have already stirred something inside you, and this is where everything becomes more personal. Don't skip. If you imagined this man remaining exactly as he is today and suddenly felt uncertain about choosing that future, pay attention to what that reveals. You may have been waiting for tomorrow's version of him while overlooking today's reality. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The shocking name may belong to the person you kept giving more time because you believed one more conversation, one more chance, or one more season would finally bring the clarity you wanted. But sometimes clarity does not arrive through another conversation. Sometimes it arrives when you stop listening only to promises and begin noticing patterns. That does not make him terrible, and it does not erase the meaningful moments you shared. It simply means his role in your story may be different from the role you imagined. Now something unexpected begins to surface. Don't skip, because this could be the clue that makes one particular person immediately come to mind. Think about who appears whenever you are finally becoming comfortable with moving forward. Think about whose smallest gesture can suddenly make you reconsider progress that took you weeks or months to build. There is something powerful about familiarity. It can feel like destiny simply because your heart recognizes it. But recognition and direction are not always the same thing. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. God may not be asking you to discover whether this man is good or bad. The deeper question may be whether his presence supports the person you are becoming. When you stop thinking about memories and look only at the life ahead, does his current character fit naturally into that picture? That question can reveal what emotion has been making difficult to see. And here comes the revelation that may completely change how you understand his name. Don't skip now. Perhaps the shock is not that you never suspected him. Perhaps the shock is that somewhere deep inside, you already did. You noticed the repeated uncertainty. You noticed yourself waiting for consistency. You noticed how often you needed reassurance after moments that were supposed to bring peace. Yet you kept searching for another explanation because accepting the simpler one would mean releasing an expectation you deeply valued. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The next clue is even stronger. There is one thing you should never have to sacrifice just to keep someone connected to your future: your ability to recognize yourself. And when you understand exactly what that means, you may finally see why this man's name kept appearing in your heart while another direction was quietly opening in front of you. My beloved child, something is shifting now, and the next truth may be the one you were never expecting to hear. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The man whose name keeps rising in your thoughts may not be revealed through what he did, but through what you slowly became around him. Ask yourself what changed. Did you become quieter about what you truly wanted? Did you start accepting less clarity because you were afraid that asking for more would change the connection? Did you begin waiting for small moments of attention to restore a certainty that should never have disappeared so easily? This is the hidden clue. A meaningful connection should not require you to become smaller just to preserve it. And sometimes God's redirection begins the moment you realize you have been protecting a connection more carefully than you have been protecting the future you were meant to build. But there is another revelation hiding beneath this, and it may surprise you even more. Don't skip, because you are getting closer to the reason the name will shock you. The man may be someone you once prayed would stay, someone you thought arrived at exactly the right moment, or someone whose presence felt so significant that you automatically assumed significance meant permanence. But some people can be deeply meaningful without being permanent. Some connections awaken something inside you, teach you what you value, and reveal what you can no longer ignore. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The surprising part is that losing the future you imagined with someone can sometimes reveal a future you never would have discovered while you were waiting for him. What feels like an ending may actually be the moment your attention finally returns to possibilities you stopped noticing. Now listen closely, because this clue brings the entire message closer to its answer. Don't skip. Imagine removing his promises, your memories, your hopes, and every version of him you believe could exist someday. Leave only what he consistently shows you today. What remains? That answer matters more than any dramatic sign. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. You may suddenly realize that the name shocking you is not shocking because you never saw the signs, it is shocking because you cared enough to keep explaining them away. And here is what comes next. There is one final test that separates emotional attachment from genuine alignment. It has nothing to do with how strongly you miss him, how long you have known him, or how beautiful certain moments were. It is about what happens when you stop imagining who he could become and finally ask whether the person standing before you today truly belongs beside the person you are becoming tomorrow. My beloved child, don't skip, stay till the end, because something huge is waiting, and listen closely, because this is where the final test begins. Forget the imagined future for a moment and look only at what is real today. When you picture becoming stronger, wiser, more peaceful, and more certain about your direction, does this man naturally fit beside that version of you, or do you immediately begin imagining all the ways he would first need to change? That difference is enormous. Don't skip. Sometimes we are not holding on to a person, we are holding on to the possibility that one day everything will finally become what we hoped. But your future cannot be built entirely on possibilities. It needs truth, consistency, mutual effort, and clarity. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The name that shocks you may belong to the man you never thought you would have to reconsider, simply because you had already written him into a chapter that had not happened yet. Here is the twist you may not have expected. The strongest clue is not how much you think about him when he is present, it is what happens to your direction when he becomes absent. Don't skip. When there is distance, do you slowly rediscover your confidence? Do forgotten goals begin returning? Does your mind become clearer? Do you suddenly remember dreams that had been pushed aside while you were trying to understand the connection? If so, do not turn that observation into anger. Turn it into information. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Sometimes God's guidance can feel less like receiving a mysterious answer and more like finally noticing what consistently brings clarity into your life. And the surprising revelation may be that the man you thought completed your direction was actually occupying so much of your attention that you could not clearly see where your own path was leading. Now the final layer is opening, and this is the part you need to hear without forcing anything. Don't skip. You do not need a supernatural announcement of someone's literal name to recognize what a repeated pattern is showing you. Look for the man whose presence repeatedly makes you negotiate with standards you once considered important. Look for the connection you keep trying to interpret instead of simply experiencing with clarity. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The shock may be realizing that his name was already in your mind before anyone said it aloud. But there is still one revelation left, and it changes the entire meaning of this message. Perhaps God is not only moving someone out of your focus. Perhaps He is making room for something you could never recognize while your attention remained attached to an old expectation. And what that new space could bring into your life may be far greater than the future you were afraid to release. My beloved child, don't skip, stay till the end, because something huge is waiting, because the empty space you were afraid of may be the very place where your next chapter begins. You thought losing your expectation of this man would leave something missing, but what if that space was never meant to remain empty? What if it was meant to give you room to hear your own thoughts again, recognize your worth again, and notice opportunities you could not see while your attention remained fixed on one person? Don't skip. The biggest surprise is not necessarily who may leave your story. It is who you become when you stop waiting for someone else to decide your direction. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. You may discover that the future you feared losing was only one version of what your life could become, and there may be something far more fitting beyond the picture you kept trying to preserve. Now notice this carefully, because this is where the message turns completely. The man whose name shocked you may never have intended to confuse your path. He may simply be walking a direction that no longer matches yours. That matters, because you do not need to make someone wrong in order to recognize that they may not be right for your next season. Don't skip. Sometimes the deepest freedom arrives when you stop asking, "Why couldn't this become what I wanted?" and start asking, "What can I finally become now that I am no longer waiting?" Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your answer may reveal dreams you postponed, decisions you delayed, and parts of yourself you placed quietly on hold. And suddenly the story is no longer about one man. It becomes about everything that could open when you stop giving one uncertain connection the power to define what comes next. And here is the revelation everything has been building toward. Don't skip now. The name was never supposed to be handed to you as a prediction, it was supposed to become recognizable through truth. The person who came to mind repeatedly while hearing these clues is worth examining calmly. Not condemning, not fearing, and not blindly abandoning, but seeing clearly. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Ask what is consistent. Ask what is mutual. Ask whether you can remain fully yourself inside this connection. Then let reality answer louder than imagination. Because perhaps the greatest surprise is not that God is redirecting you from a man you once believed belonged in your future. Perhaps the greatest surprise is realizing that releasing one expectation can open a door to a life so much clearer, fuller, and more aligned that one day you will understand why the path had to change before you could finally see where it was leading. My beloved child, don't skip, stay till the end, because something huge is waiting, because there is one final layer you have not seen yet. The man this message has been pointing toward may be the very person you kept placing outside the possibility. You questioned everyone else before you questioned him. You searched for complicated explanations because the simplest answer felt too surprising to accept. But listen carefully, this is not about assuming that someone is secretly against you, and it is not about making a sudden decision based on these words. It is about recognizing what reality has repeatedly shown you. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Think about whose name appears when you ask yourself one question: who am I constantly hoping will become clearer tomorrow, instead of accepting what he consistently shows me today? That name may be the one that changes everything. Something extraordinary happens when you stop chasing certainty from another person and start observing what is already in front of you. Don't skip, because this is where the revelation becomes impossible to ignore. Maybe you kept thinking the strongest connection would automatically become the right connection. Maybe you believed that because someone entered your life at an unforgettable moment, he must remain until the final chapter. But meaningful does not always mean permanent. Some people become unforgettable because they awaken something inside you that you were supposed to carry forward without them. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Perhaps this man taught you how deeply you can care, what consistency means to you, what kind of future you desire, and what you should never again have to repeatedly question. If his name suddenly feels obvious, do not turn that realization into bitterness. Turn it into clarity. And now comes the truth that makes the entire message connect. Don't skip. Maybe God is not taking something valuable away from you. Maybe He is helping you stop measuring your future by something that has already completed its purpose. The shocking name may be familiar, important, and deeply connected to memories you once believed would become your future. Yet your next chapter does not have to resemble your previous one. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The moment you stop asking whether this man will finally become everything you imagined, another question appears. Who can I become when I no longer need that answer? That is where everything changes. Because beyond this connection may be a version of your life you have never experienced before, one where you do not chase clarity, wait endlessly for consistency, or lose yourself inside possibilities. And the biggest revelation may be this: what you thought was rejection could actually be redirection towards something you were never going to see while you kept looking backward. My beloved child, don't skip, stay till the end, because something huge is waiting, because what you are about to understand may completely reverse the way you have been looking at this man. Until now, you may have believed the biggest question was whether he would stay, return, change, or finally give you the certainty you wanted. But that was never the deepest question. The real question is what happens to you while you are waiting for that certainty. Don't skip. If waiting for one person keeps you emotionally standing in the same place while your life is asking you to move forward, that pattern deserves your attention. You may have mistaken intensity for importance and familiarity for permanence. Yet sometimes the person who occupies the most space in your thoughts is not the person who belongs in the most important part of your future. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is still one detail that could make the name in your mind suddenly feel impossible to ignore. Now listen carefully, because this is where the hidden clue becomes unmistakable. Think of the man you repeatedly understand, forgive, explain, and wait for, but somehow still find yourself asking the same unanswered questions about. Don't skip. Maybe every individual moment seems small, yet when you place all those moments beside each other, a pattern appears. You keep expecting the next conversation to change everything. You keep believing the next season will finally bring consistency. You keep remembering the strongest moments while quietly overlooking everything between them. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Perhaps God's redirection is not arriving through one dramatic sign at all. Perhaps it is arriving through repetition, through the same lesson appearing until you finally stop asking for a different answer. And here is the surprising part: the man's name may shock you because he is not someone you stopped caring about. He may be someone you still care about deeply, and clarity can be hardest when feelings are strongest. But the biggest revelation is still ahead. Don't skip now, because this changes the entire story. What if this was never about discovering a hidden enemy? What if it was about recognizing an expired expectation? Someone can have a meaningful place in your past without automatically receiving the same place in your future. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Look at the name that keeps returning to your mind, then remove the memories, remove the imagined possibilities, and remove everything you hope might happen someday. Look only at what is consistently present now. That reality is the clue. And there is one more truth coming that may be even more surprising. When you finally stop waiting for this man to become the answer, you may realize that the answer was never another person. It was the clarity, strength, and direction that began returning the moment you stopped building your entire future around one uncertain name.